another one of those.
Finally.
Just you wait.
Ah, the colony. So generous in its cruelty. Like in any prison, the simplest of all laws apply. Power, obedience, hierarchy. Violence refined into routine. Customs built and maintained by force, and who cannot withstand is quickly dumped. And yet, instinct whispers that those cast aside will shape their days to come.
Yeah.
A colony in perpetual conflict, so divided, so full of contradictions. Those who follow the new god speak of salvation, but faith may have an even grimmer future in store. The bandits preach freedom, anarchy without chains, yet kneel before the mages in the name of balance. Then come the self-proclaimed rulers of the valley, so lost in greed and in the comfort of their fragile arrangement that they long lost any interest in change. And yet, we are all the same, prisoners of the great dome in the sky, with no hope of escaping.
If there's a way out of here, I'll find it.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Trailers, where we give our thoughts on some of the newest and hottest video game trailers on the internet. My name is Jason Winter, and this week I'm joined by the man known as Eking-san, making his podcast debut. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, I've been watching your streams for years, and I plucked this guy out of the ether and thought maybe he'll make a good podcast host. We'll find out this week, won't we?
We'll find out. I'll have fun in any case.
Okay, yeah, it'll be fun at the very least. Even if you fail. No, anyway. So we came in with the trailer for the Gothic 1 remake, which Gothic, of course, is a game series that's been around for a long time. The first installment was all the way back in 2001. That's what this is a remake of. There's been 3 of them in the series total. For my money, I played Gothic 2 a little bit, and it just didn't click with me for some reason. I don't know if I needed better background from the first game, or if it was just, here's a game from, I think it was 2002, 2003, and it just, things were a little rougher back then, but I just didn't care for it that much. But I look at this, and it looks great. It looks, it looks like a modern game, first of all. It looks much better than the original or Gothic 1 or 2 did. And I love a good open world RPG. Who doesn't? And it's got this kind of grim, dark fantasy, but not super dark, not just like, blood and heads exploding everywhere and death and whatever. It's got a more of a kind of realistic grounding to it. So it's something I think I could definitely be interested in. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think like you and maybe a lot of people, I didn't play the first Gothic game when it came out, and I've seen that there were a few entries in the franchise over the years. It's always been something kind of on my list, like oh, I'd like to check this out at some point. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see that they're having this remake of the first game, and like you're saying, it looks really polished. And I just remember where I was reading that some of the feedback on the original is that it's a bit janky, hard to set up. The interface and things aren't as good as you'd like it to be. Obviously, the graphics were dated, and this seems to address all of that. But the core narrative and the environment seem pretty compelling. You have the mystery of this penal colony that you're trapped in. You want to find your way out. You're just a regular person by all indications, and so you're just trying to find your way in this world. And that just seems like an interesting environment to play in. It's pretty unique as compared to other titles that are out there in this kind of open world RPG. Even with the dark RPGs, it seems a bit different in some ways.
Yeah, but the thing that most stuck with me from when I played Gothic 2 is how bad the voice acting was. That's the one thing I remember from like the 5 hours I played. It was not good. So hopefully that's among the things that they're fixing up and polishing up for this one. It looks pretty good. There's nothing in there that made me think it was going to be subpar or anything. And looking at comments and so forth, I see even old school Gothic fans are like, yeah, let's go. It's time. So I think it's going to do pretty well for itself.
Yeah, I think so too. Some of the aspects of this game too, with the world building, the different factions that they were describing, there's a lot to get into there. It sounds like there are some different quest lines and interactions that you can get into, and has different replayability. And so you can kind of pursue this world in the way that you want to, although maybe things are morally ambiguous, and the path that you take might be different than the path that I take. And I just think that's also going to make it fun in terms of it's a game that you can play, and it may not be the same way that everyone else plays it. And so you can talk about what went into the choices that you made, and what did you think about this quest? How did it, make you approach the different characters and the different considerations?
Yep. Well, we've got a few more months to get hyped for that. This releases on June 5th on PC, PS5, and Xbox. So look out for the Gothic 1 remake. Next up, we've got a piece of a trailer from Crimson Desert. They've been doing different trailers for different aspects of the game recently. They did one that's about 8.5 minutes long. We're going to show you about a 2-minute chunk of it, and then talk about that, maybe a little more about the game in general once we're back.
Your journey will inevitably take you to the villages, towns, and cities of Pywel's various regions. Here, shops and vendors offer everything from daily provisions to a range of equipment and materials. A blacksmith can forge a new weapon to replace the one you've carried since Hernan, while a tailor ensures you're properly outfitted for the journeys ahead.
Oh, your wardrobe tells your story.
But commerce is only one part of life.
I'll do the same for you someday. This is for you. Good health to you. My words of praise must seem shallow.
There are residents here who are in need of someone to hear their requests. Some may need protection from bandits. Others may ask you to deliver goods, or help track down a missing person. These stories unfold alongside the region's larger tales, offering a glimpse into the everyday lives of those who live in Pywel. Spend a little time in these locations and soak in the atmosphere. Meet residents, both good and bad. Catch whispers of rumors from the locals, or engage in lighter diversions along the way. Just be mindful of the law. Harmful actions can turn residents and guards hostile, making travel more difficult as you're forced to fight your way through, pay fines, or even serve time in jail.
Okay, that was a segment of the Life in Pywel trailer for Crimson Desert, which I can't believe Crimson Desert is finally coming out. I feel like I've been talking about this game forever with friends and on different podcasts and whatnot. It's finally going to happen. March 19th is when the full game comes out, so just a little more than a month from now. And like I said, there's a lot of different stuff in this video. You can watch the whole thing. We'll link to it below. I'm showing it a little bit on the side now, so you're seeing more of what they offered. But yeah, I get an interesting feel from this, from showing off this like town area, the different interactions with townsfolk and so on. And the first thing I think of is like a Rockstar game, like a GTA or a Red Dead, where you can go around, you can do crime and you can get caught for it, and they even have a little thing where it shows the police or whatever, the town guard are chasing you. You don't have quite the stars in the corner. I don't think you get any car chases. Maybe there's a horse chase. I don't know. Maybe that would be interesting. But yeah, it's nice to see. Again, every RPG has combat and quests and leveling and so forth. So I haven't really paid that much attention to those videos. But it's nice to see this aspect of things. You see something a little different that you don't always get in a lot of games. It's good to see that quality and that care going into a system kind of off the beaten path like this.
Yeah, this in general, I actually don't know a lot about this game, so I'm getting more hyped hearing that you've been looking into it for a long time. But from what I was watching here and reading about it, it just seems like an interesting mix of several different systems that play into each other. And so here, a lot of talk about the base building and the RPG elements and the world itself and these different communities that you're in. Yeah, like you're saying, it was funny to hear the idea that you can get in trouble, you can commit a crime and get the guards to come after you. So there's a lot of different aspects here that play into each other in terms of building your character, and then that contributes to your base. And you have different comrades that can go on missions to help build up your base, and that helps advance your character. A lot of different things going on here that I'm really interested to see how they all fit together in practice.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was unlike Red Dead, is that the people in your camp did squat, basically. You had to do all the work. So even though they said they were going out to do missions, they show up with a few bucks, and then you're like, oh, what did you really do? I like that, like I said, in this, you'll be able to send them out on real missions, and they can accomplish actual things. So that's going to be a nice little touch, a little additional thing, kind of like what we're seeing in a lot of different games these days. So, yeah. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption and cowboys in general, up next we've got a game that is cowboy-centric, but with a little extra twist thrown in. This is the trailer for The Dark West. Okay, that was a trailer for The Dark West from developer Black Hand, coming out someday. There's no launch date on it. It's to be announced. It's interesting, though. I like that it's an ARPG, but it's not fantasy. I like that we have something a little different than all the typical fantasy, sword and sorcery, Diablo, Path of Exile, that sort of thing, the typical ARPGs. This one with an obvious Wild West theme. Obviously a lot more of a focus on ranged combat, gunslinging, that sort of thing. And of course has the occult elements, because you can't have an ARPG without some sort of crazy magic, I suppose. I guess no matter what, you have to have something like that. So, yeah, it's a nice little teaser. I wish I would have shown more gameplay or more systems. Maybe they'll do that as it comes later along, but it's good to just show this off right at the start and get you at least a little hyped for it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I got that first vibe too. This is like Diablo meets Wild West, or it is Diablo meets Wild West, basically, or the world of Red Dead Redemption, but Diabloized or something like that. There's clearly a lot of weapons here, and there's going to be an emphasis on gunslinging. So if you're into gunslinging, this might be the game for you. And it seems like there's good variety. Hopefully there's some melee stuff too. I didn't see a lot of that from this trailer, or maybe any. But I think it could be fun if they vary things up quite a bit. And it's nice that it's a single player focused game, because there are a lot of these ARPG Diablo, Path of Exile type games that are out there, that, they're really focused on the multiplayer in that aspect. So maybe there'll be a really interesting story to tell here and a unique kind of world. And just to add more, because in the trailer they didn't get into the system so much, I went to the Steam page and they show some interface, like the inventory interface, and the heads-up display, and it looks like what you'd expect from those other games. So
ARPG stuff with little boxes and so forth. Yeah,
exactly.
That's almost a requirement in ARPGs these days. I mean, fantasy or gunsling, it's got to be the same way, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like a pretty interesting title to keep an eye on. Like I said, no set release date, but I would imagine probably, I'd guess sometime this year. Who knows? We'll see if I'm right. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at a game that does have a release date. In fact, it was last week. So in case you haven't seen it yet, here is the trailer for Nioh 3. All right, that was the trailer for Nioh 3 from Koei Tecmo. As I said, it came out last week. $70 game, but there's a demo available, so you can try it out for yourself if you're not sure about it. And I'm going to let Eki-san go after this first, because to me it feels like a game that you're pretty familiar with, albeit in a slightly different genre and style, but it reminds me a little bit of Elden Ring, which I know you've played a lot of, so I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
Yeah, thanks for that. I've played a share of Elden Ring. I'm not a hardcore gamer, but it's fun, especially with friends, get the multiplayer version. But I've also played Bloodborne. Yeah, which this has, exactly. So that's a good selling point for this. If someone's interested in Souls-like games, also interested in a Japanese setting, I think it has a lot here that's interesting. The first two Nioh games have been well reviewed. So this is another franchise that's been on my radar for a while. It's hard to believe that it's been, I think, close to 10 years since the first
2016,
entry
I think,
came
was
out.
the first one.
Yeah, okay. So maybe it's been 10
right.
years
I guess,
already.
yeah, 10 years. It is 2026, isn't it? Oh, my God.
Yeah, time flies. But it's an interesting environment. Definitely looks vibrant. The environments look varied. It has this time travel narrative, as I understand. So I think that'll allow for some interesting storytelling. And from the trailer, they really set up some epic looking set pieces here. So you're going to get that, intense gameplay that we saw, but also, explore some really interesting environments as well. Something that caught my eye watching this trailer was the switching between samurai and ninja.
Right.
And I think that's going to be an important part of the gameplay and also going to set it apart from the previous entries. I didn't play Nioh 2, but I know they had different stances to use there. So that was important to adapt to different situations. And so I think that's going to be kind of a reworking. Some enemies you're probably going to be better using the ninja moves or samurai moves for other enemies, or maybe even, you see what they're choreographing to you. You need to change up your strategy on the fly. So I think it'll be really nice to feel that contrast between a fast ninja and a powerful samurai and flipping between them.
That's what I'm seeing from the reviews on Steam already. People saying, longtime Nioh fans who love the first two games saying, I love this one too. So they've apparently hit the formula just right. And like you said, switching between the two is a new and interesting way to do it, and something they're definitely looking to capitalize on. And like I said, multiplayer, you can invite a friend, you can go through stuff together. So maybe you and your partner in crime will eventually wind up streaming that, like I saw you do Elden Ring for quite a while.
Yeah, maybe. That's for me, these kinds of games, it's multiplayer that I enjoy. I'm not so great at the single player, so Neo 3,
I know, I
maybe.
watch your streams, like I said.
Yeah, you know well.
All right. So we've had a lot of action-packed games, a lot of big nasty monsters and demons and whatever. So let's just climb a mountain now. All right. Final trailer that we're going to talk about is going to be for Cairn.
All I ever wanted was to touch eternity for an instant.
Hey, wait for me! I'm Marco. Nice to meet you. I'm not fooling anyone. There's no way I'll make it all the way to the summit. I'll come down before the end, just like everyone else.
Why go up then? I'm just here to climb.
Climbing won't make you rich.
Like for all of us, this is the end of your journey.
There has to be a way.
Tell that to all those who died trying.
All right, that was the trailer for Cairn. It is an open world climbing game with a story. As you can tell, there's definitely some storyline aspects to it. And yeah, I guess that's like the way to describe it. Open world climbing. It's like we've played open world games, played plenty of them, and it's always, pretty flat. You're going along the terrain, you're going to New Horizon or whatever. This seems like it's the same way. Like you have to plan your route so you don't fall, obviously. You got to figure out, look up at the mountain, figure out where to put your hands, your feet. Gives me a little bit of a quap feeling. I hope it's not that bad, but yeah, you definitely feel like you got to figure where each hand goes, where each foot goes, plan your route, and it's open world. It's just open world but vertical. The same sort of open world planning and thought that goes into going around an open world game, but going up instead of going across. It's a really neat twist on the genre and something that's been pretty popular. It's got like 94% positive ratings on Steam, so they've done a good job with this. How do you think of it?
This actually caught my eye not too long before we set this up. So I'm really glad to talk about it. The trailer looks great. It is different. It's not the kind of flat open world that you expect from other games, but like you're saying, you're climbing a mountain and it looks to be executed really well. Not just based on the reviews, but looking at this trailer, gorgeous vistas, challenging gameplay that's almost like puzzles. You got to figure out exactly the course that you want to go. There are survival elements here too, and just in general, they're really emphasizing this. I don't know if it's a metaphor. Usually we say climbing the mountain as a metaphor, but here it's very on the nose. We're going to climb this mountain. You might fail. Something that I like really not surprised me, but like had an impact on me watching this is when the main character fell, and that emphasizes that you may fail. You probably will fail at some point during this. But the important thing is you could see there is a top to this mountain. And if you work hard enough, you can make it to the top. And there's going to be a story along the way. I don't know how good that story is going to be, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't have like the massive production values of a Nioh or something like that, but it's good enough for what it is. And it's only a $30 game on Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. Came out on February 10th, so a few days ago. Also has a demo, so you can check that out. But yeah, Cairn is looking pretty good. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the next game already. This came out January 29th on PC and PlayStation 5. I was looking ahead. Never mind me. So yeah, that is going to be it for our show for today. We're going to have one more trailer for you for a game coming out February 10th. It's called Crisol Theater of Idols, and it's set in a dark and twisted version of Spain. And you use blood to power your guns. You have to decide how much how much you want to use to wipe out the bad guys while not draining your life force too much. Looks pretty interesting, and we'll see that in just a little bit. For now, thank you very much for coming by, Eki-san. It was great to have you. Hope you'll be back sometime.
It was great to be here. Thanks again. This was a lot of fun.
All right, yeah. I hope everyone else out there enjoyed the show. Please give us a like and subscribe so you'll always know when there's a future episode. And you can find our socials to the side right now if you'd like to follow us on other platforms. Until next time, stay safe and play hard.
Mi amor. No es momento de hacer castillos en el aire. Every secret you've hidden, every drop of blood you've spilled. A prize for the god you so love. But you know what they say, mi sol. Donde hay amor, hay dolor.